gonna give you my everything from now on. Won't have to walk this road alone. Oh, my yesterdays and my tomorrows, all my laughter and my sorrow. Yeah, your heart is the only one I know. Oh, till the stars fall out of the sky and the rivers, they all run dry. Baby, you're mine, only one. Till the silver that runs through our hair, don't you know that I'll always be there? Baby, I swear, till my days on this earth are done, you're the only one. Oh, 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 oh. With every heartbeat in my chest, I would try to bring happiness, be your strength whenever you get weak. And even the times when they get rough, baby, I will pick you up, give you all the loving that you need. Till the stars fall out of the sky and the rivers, they all run dry. Baby, you're mine, only one. Till the silver that runs through our hair, don't you know that I'll always be there? Baby, I swear, till my days on this earth are done, you're the only one. You're the only one I ever wanna hold. You're the only one who knows how to speak to my soul. Till the stars fall out of the sky and the rivers, they all run dry. Baby, you're mine, only one. Till the silver that runs through our hair, don't you know that I'll always be there? Baby, I swear, till my days on this earth are done, even though we've just only begun, you're the only one. Oh, 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 oh. You're the only one.
When you first told me your name, I didn't hear a word you said, but it was written all over my face. Should've known it was you I would love until the end. When you made it down the aisle, every moment stole my breath. Bet you could see it in my smile. Should've known it was you I would love until the end. I don't know where this road leads. All I know is I wanna go with you in a life where there's no sure things. I am sure I wanna live it if you look into my eyes. When our time down here is spent, it's in every single line. Hope you know it was you that I loved until the end. Ooh.
Okay, I'd like to start by asking everyone to silence their phones, which is a little bit redundant in the setting of Zach being a little noisy right now. But welcome friends and family to this joyous celebration of the dearly beloved. I'm Simon, Sarah's older brother, and it's a true honor to be able to officiate this ceremony. First, I'd like to say thank you to everyone who's traveled. To be here, it's a true testament to the commitment you all have for this lovely couple. Thank you to the parents, Dr. Kuchera, Kathy, Lourdes, and Zach, for all the planning, organizing, and hosting of this event at such a nice venue. We're all thrilled Sarah and Chris are finally settling down, close to family, in the beautiful Garden State. I'd like to start with a reading from Peter with some instructions for everyone in the crowd. Finally, all of you, have unity of mind, sympathy, love, a tender heart, and a humble mind. Do not repay evil for evil or reviling for reviling, but on the contrary, bless, for to this you were called, that you may obtain a blessing. And now a reading for the two in front of us. This is a letter to the Corinthians. You guys might have heard of this one before. Love is patient and kind. Love does not envy or boast. It is not arrogant or rude. It does not insist on its own way. It is not irritable or resentful. It does not rejoice in wrongdoing, but rejoices with the truth. Love bears all things, hopes all things, endures all things. Love never ends. And now just for a little context on these two. I'm not sure if you all know this, but Sarah went away for a few months and did her mini MBA out in San Francisco. This is my first introduction to Chris, basically. We were worried that Sarah would have a hard time handling all this time away from family, from her friends, in like a different area of the country. And they'd only met a few times before this. One time they went to a restaurant and they forgot to order food. Another time they went to get hamburgers and forgot to get hamburgers. But when Sarah was away, Chris texted her every single day. And we were all worried, my mom especially, that she would be in like a terrible mood, all alone. But miraculously, Sarah was always cheery, always calm, always happy when she was in San Francisco. And we didn't know why. Now we know. It was Chris keeping her company from afar. Sarah has never laughed as much as she has since meeting you, Chris. And it's been wonderful seeing the two of you grow closer over the years. Chris has been wonderful to Sarah and our family, putting up with a lot of dramatic dinner table conversations, political debates especially, and Maddie and my big personalities, always keeping a smile on his face and presenting as the perfect gentleman for my little sister. Thank you to your family. The Kacheras have treated her like a princess. She's always happy to see them in Morristown and spend time with all the cousins at the lake. Kathy especially, you've been outnumbered for long enough, and you finally have a daughter. Thank you for being so incredible to her. Not that it's hard to get along with these two. The both of you have hearts of gold, and we're all so happy for you. And here I'd like to ask the moms to come up and say a few words.
Thank you.
So
Okay.
this is a little.
Oh, I'm sorry.
No, sorry. This is something that the kids did not know we were doing. But as parents, mothers, we thought it was something important to share with them.
And I'm sure they're terrified of what we're going to say. We have just a very tiny short thing here to read. The difference between romance and love. Romance seeks perfection. Love forgives imperfection. Romance flies in the clouds. Love lands safely. Romance utters endearments. Love focuses on someone else's happiness.
Romance produces physical attraction. Now, she is gorgeous. Love finds beauty in others, no matter how they look. Romance likes flattering attention. Love prefers thoughtfulness. Romance is tingling excitement. Love is constant loyalty. Romance cannot last. Love cannot help but last. And we pray this for the two of you.
Here I'd like to ask the couple to exchange their vows.
To my beautiful wife and life partner. I consider myself so lucky to have met you at what was a very anxious and difficult time for me. For the first time in my life, I didn't have so many close friends to lean on and felt powerless to change the direction my life was headed. I was struggling to find comfort and stability while feeling lonely and isolated, living amongst millions of people in the center of Manhattan. I knew the day that out of those millions our paths happened to cross, things were about to change. You gave me the confidence to take risks and to pursue the plans that I had always just referred to as ideas. I am the happiest and most content I have ever been in my life thanks to you and your unconditional love and support. All my accomplishments over the last few years, I owe to you, and for that, I will forever be grateful. And so, as we begin the rest of our lives together, I have a few favors to ask of you, and in return, promises I will make to you. Please continue to expect the best out of me, and hold me to the standards both you and I deserve. And in return, I promise to love and support you to the best of my abilities. Second, please continue to push me to grow and evolve as a person. I've always admired how you've been willing to staunchly disagree with me, and hope that you continue to open me to new ideas. In return, I promise my best to overcome my occasional stubbornness and tendency to be difficult, and be open to all that you have to introduce me to. That last part will start today. I was not trying that hard before this. And lastly, please promise not to change. Please continue to be the girl I fell in love with. The one that can always cheer me up. The one I can always be my full self around. The one that has given me more than I deserve and more than I can ever repay. And in return, I promise to spend a lifetime trying to repay that debt. I promise to give you the love and devotion you deserve. I promise to continue to recognize you for your incredible accomplishments and support you in all of your future endeavors. In our life together, there will be happy times and sad times and exciting times and difficult times. I promise to be the best husband I can be in all of those times. I love you, Sarah, and I can't wait to spend the rest of my life with you.
Chris, I cannot believe this day is finally here. From meeting in New York, moving to California, Philadelphia, and now back in both our home states of New Jersey, it has been quite a wild journey that led us here, but I would not change it for the world. Someone recently asked me when I knew I was in love with you. It's hard to pinpoint the exact moment, but from the day I met you at your 38th Street apartment, I felt at ease, as if I had known you forever. It's the little things you do, from supporting me through life's challenges, calming me down when my mind races through 800 scenarios, encouraging me to embrace new experiences and go to business school, even though it meant another year of a long distance, embracing my friends and family as your own, and championing my successes. With you, life seems easier, time moves way too fast, and all the big steps in a relationship feel less scary. Not because they are not important, but because we are confident in getting through them together. I cannot wait to spend the rest of our lives together. Now on to the vows. I'd vow to support you in good times and bad, to be true to you through richer or poorer, love you in sickness and in health, be your shoulder when you need a rest, and your champion for all your wins. And I vow to try my hardest to never get sick of The Office or Seinfeld reruns. It's gonna get hard. You're the first person I want to see when I get up and the last before I go to rest. I am so happy to be your wife.
All right, you two may now exchange rings.
Chris? Sorry.
And you may now kiss the bride.
There's something in the way she moves, or looks my way, or calls my name, that seems to leave this troubled world behind. And if I'm feeling down and blue, or troubled by some foolish game, she always seems to make me change my mind. And I feel fine anytime she's around me now. She's around me now, almost all the time. And if I'm well, you can tell that she's been with me now. She's been with me now quite a long, long time, and I feel fine. Every now and then the things I lean on lose the meaning, and I find myself careening in places where I should not let me go. She has the power to go where no one else can find me, yes, and to silently remind me of the happiness and good times that I know, you know. Well, I said I just got to know them. It isn't what she's got to say, or how she thinks, or where she's been. To me the words are nice, the way they sound. I like to hear them best that way. It doesn't much matter what they mean. Well, she says they're mostly just to come.
Changing the
All right. It's nice to see everyone here. Thank you so much, everybody, for coming. For those of you who don't know me, my name is Kevin Gutierrez. I am Chris Gutierrez's brother, best man of this wedding. And I think like head of security, too. I don't know. It's pretty cool. If we met you in the pool this morning, you are not allowed in this reception. So please exit right now. All right, I'm going to keep this short because my brother told me I have to keep it short, so I'm going to cut out a few things here. But what I do want to do is I do want to say something from the heart, something that I think was really personal to me. So as I said, I promise I'm going to keep this short. So one thing I did want to talk about tonight, and this is just, I had a bunch of jokes. I'm going to spare all of you those jokes. You're welcome. I wanted to talk about something that really stuck out to me. So when I was thinking about writing this speech, I have so many places to draw from. I'm a musician. I'm a big film advocate, and it clearly would not come from me unless I, quoted something that I saw in a film or a stand-up comedy or something like that. So what I wanted to talk to you about tonight is something that just stood out to me in a movie when I was thinking about this, and I want to leave you with this thought. There's a scene in Ron Howard's A Beautiful Mind. I don't know if any of you have seen that film. For anyone who hasn't seen it, it's a fantastic biopic. It's about John Nash and his contributions to math and economics. I think Chris can definitely appreciate that. He's a big man in the spreadsheets, so I thought that was pretty fantastic. And in this scene, John Nash, who is played by Russell Crowe, is about to ask Jennifer Connelly to marry him. And, John Nash, he's one of those guys who's too smart for his own good, right? So essentially what he says, completely socially inept, is he says in his proposal, he wants proof that our relationship warrants commitment. Very romantic, I know. So Jennifer Connelly's character asks him, and this is what really stuck with me. How big is the universe? Well, it's infinite. Well, how do you know that? Well, all the data gathered by all the best scientists in the world leads to the conclusion that the universe is, in fact, infinite. But you've never seen it. No. Then how do you know for sure? John thinks about this for a moment and he says, well, I guess at a certain point, I just believe it is. And she responds, it's the same with love, I think. And what struck me about this was really how applicable this is in a modern context. We live in a world that is completely driven by data models, by metric analysis, predictive algorithms, and automation. There's just so much information out there that we need computers to actually tell us what we're even looking at. We really don't need to believe in anything anymore, which is a shame. Everywhere we look, we have at least what we think are the answers. I can read 1,001 articles on why I shouldn't take a certain job or read buy a certain product, date a certain person. It really doesn't matter what you're talking about there. And for each, I have 1,001 alternatives that are available to you. It's never been easier to take no risks, to put in no work, to see that ever greener grass. So when you find something or someone that you are willing to believe in, it's so much more powerful. And the reward is so much sweeter. Nothing great was ever accomplished without steadfast belief. I am so happy that Chris and Sarah have found each other. And in doing so, have found someone to believe in. Sarah, there is no one else I would want to have as my sister-in-law, and I'm so excited to welcome you into our family. And so I would like to raise a glass to the bride and groom. I said grass. I can't believe I said grass. Terrible. To Sarah and Chris, to the believers. Here, here, salud.
Hello, everybody. I am Jake, Chris's buddy from Pitt, the other best man, or second in command from Kevin. I just want to thank Bank of America for letting Chris come out tonight. It's really nice to let him off the leash. I wish we had a drummer for a little brooch, but we'll move on. This is really a big crowd. I was a little nervous for Chris coming up tonight. I was trying to think of what exactly to say between like roasting him the whole time or being sentimental. So we're just gonna kind of mix it in between like a little sentimental, but then like just a quick reality check for Chris and just throw in like a random memory I have of something embarrassing he did just to bring him back down to earth a little bit. And then we'll circle back and kind of tie it all together. So summarizing my feelings for Chris in a few minutes, especially kind of sharing the stage here, I don't want to go too long, was tough. I've known Chris for 13 years now. We met just going into freshman year of college. My first impressions were from Chris were one, that his last name kind of sounded like the Spanish word for spoon, so that stood out in my brain immediately. I was like, Kuchar, okay. And I think you had glasses at the time, if I remember correctly, or you might have been a contact guy. And then also you had a lot of chapstick. He had excessively dry lips, so he had a lot of chapstick going on. But then the secondary impressions after that were between the group of people that we were stuck with, a lot of like military types, a lot of hardos. I recognized that Chris was kind of one of the ones in the group that was normal. He was a Jersey guy as well, that I was able to identify with that, and we got along pretty swimmingly after that. Chris is definitely my best friend. I'm closer to him than I am either of my own two blood brothers. He is stubborn, determined, kind, thoughtful, and a man of high character. I've had other friends for longer, from earlier in life, but Chris is the one that stands out above them all because he's been with me from that stage of life, from boyhood to manhood, where we kind of went from kids to men together, went from who we were to who we wanted to be to who we are now, and have shared a lot of common ground together and have kind of seen each other grow over the years. I've taken a lot from Chris as far as what I want to be and a good role model. And I'm really fortunate to be here today, standing next to him and helping him over this threshold. Through it all, Chris has been a constant in my life, and now the lives of my wife and son as well. He's like the third brother I never had, and I can count on him, share with him, and I care and want the best for him just like I would for my own blood. He brought me into his family and his parents. Mike and Kathy welcomed me into theirs like another son, invited me on trips, included me in everything they did. And then during my wife's first pregnancy, when she had some complications, Chris was able to call upon Mike and kind of phone us in and be an extra ear to talk to hear us out. More than any other friend, Chris has always been there. He visited every home we've had, 4 different homes over 2 states. He was always the first one to come and visit. He was the first one to visit when our son was born. He offered support, always offering advice, and always just being an ear that we could talk to. I say all this praise for Chris and by extension Mike and Kathy for raising such a great man, and then now also Sarah for being so wise as to choose such a great man to spend the rest of your life with. And now Sarah too. I can't wait for what lies ahead of you and Chris. You know, I don't know you nearly as well as I know Chris, obviously, but I know from what I've seen that you have an incredible character. You're incredibly driven, and you have this effortless kindness that comes with you that I know is it upholds Chris in such a way, and I've never seen him glow like the way he does. Seeing him prepare to give his vows today, I've never seen him more nervous in my life. I remember when Chris told us he was going to propose to you, and he actually had the ring on him, and he was visiting us in New Jersey, and he did not let the ring out of his sight. I'm not kidding. It wasn't like it was safe enough to be in his luggage, under the bed, in the house. No, he had to keep it on his person everywhere he went. God forbid somebody randomly breaks into the house and steals your ring. It was too big of a risk for Chris. And as promised, a couple of just quick jabs at Chris to give him a reality check. Chris has some quirky habits, one of which, when my son was about 1, we were like, Chris, why don't you hold him? And Chris was like, no, I don't want to hold any children until it's my own son. I was like, okay, I don't want to just say that's wrong, but okay, that's interesting thing. When we were in college, Chris would not let any of us other roommates use his knife or his pots and pans or his skillet. He would actually hide the pots and pans in his room. They were too valuable for us, I guess. When he came to visit for Halloween and we all dressed up to go out for Halloween, the entire night Chris was just like, "Are you sure other people are gonna be dressed up for Halloween? Are you positive? Like, I don't want to show up and be the only guy dressed as a squatting Slav or whatever you're dressed up for and just be embarrassed." I was like, "No, they're gonna be dressed up, I'm pretty sure." And just another one where we were at the gym and he like showed me this weird workout technique and I was like, "This seems like dangerous and painful." And he's like, "Nah, I saw this from like a professional." I was like, "Okay." And then afterwards he's like, I was lying, I made that up." Okay. But back to Chris. He loves Sarah so much. Like, I've really never seen him glow like this, Sarah, from the amazing speech he gave today, to how nervous he was leading up to the vows and how nervous he was with the ring and just every single detail of this weekend, how much fear is in him to screw up in front of you. It boils down to that. Like, he loves you so much that he just wants everything to be perfect for you. And I know he's going to continue the rest of his life like that, just making everything as perfect as can be. And I'll finish with one little callback to The Old Man and the Sea. And Chris might have heard this one before, where in The Old Man and the Sea, the fisherman talks about how the male marlins will follow the female up to the surface to let them eat first. And if the female happens to bite bait, they'll follow them up to the surface, they'll follow them around, and oftentimes get caught by the fisherman as well, because the male marlin continues to swim around the ship as the female is fighting against the fisherman and gets caught. And they never leave their side, and even when they're taken aboard the boat, they stay along almost in mourning. And I just say to Chris to be like the marlin, stay by her side, let her eat first, and just follow her to the surface no matter what. Good luck, guys. Thank you.
Hello, everyone. For those of you talking, please stop. No, I'm kidding. For those of you who don't know me, I'm Maddie, Sarah's sister. First, I'd like to thank my parents, Zach and Lourdes, and Dr. and Mrs. Kuchera, who I know prefer that I call them Kathy and Mike, but it's hard for me, for their patience and amazing celebration they've thrown for this couple. Where to begin? Sarah, Sarita, we'll start with you. Growing up, Sarah beat to her own drum and had this nature about her that was just fun. She had this wild head of hair that became a character trait. Fast forward 30 years, and Sarita, I can't believe you're married. And FYI, your hair looks absolutely fabulous today. Growing up, we simply had a blast, thanks to so many of you in this room. Trips to Key Biscayne, Sweden, Switzerland, pool parties, baking brownies, car rides with Abuela and Abuelo to McDonald's, trips up north filled with the best Lebanese food in the world, many, many cousin hangs, manhunt, roaming Red Bank, and of course, Baba Zach's famous popcorn. Our childhood was so joyous. Later, Sarah and I went to NYU together, and we're best to be siblings that are actually friends, and friends don't tell. So if you want any NYU stories, visit this table here. These girls are good for that. As we got older, Simon and I would always joke that people assumed Sarah was older than us. She had it together in a way most 20-somethings surely did not. Determined, steadfast, successful, and even-keeled. She followed in my dad, my mom, of course I'll give myself a shout out, and Chris's footsteps in getting her MBA. But of course she went up to all of us and went to Wharton. Her inviting energy, her intelligence, her humility, and her beauty are why we're here today. And although she's known to us as perfect Sarah, maldito son sus ojos, Sarah still has her quirks, like her inability to make decisions. Have you noticed she has 2 entirely different wedding gowns today? Or her hypochondria. She loves a deep whip and D-hole. We're just glad that Chris gets to take all these fun traits on. When Sarah met Chris, she called me to tell me she met a guy at a party who also has a ton of Indian friends. Sarah never brought up guys, so I knew that this was something special. She was mostly concerned, though, why he hadn't asked for her number that night. But through the Browntown network, he got Sarah's number, and soon thereafter, they were dating. Chris is like Sarah. He's very accomplished, he's humble, he's a family man and a doer. I love when Chris is around, especially in the summer, because the Chivy pool is without a doubt the cleanest. He has this infatuation with cleaning our pool. I hate cleaning pools. I like laying in them once they're clean, so thank you, Chris. We love having you around. And as I got to know Chris, I learned he's funny, protective, amazing with kids, good at starting fires, and has excellent taste in TV, with the real dreams of quitting Bank of America and becoming a Dunder Mifflin employee soon. I later got to know the Kucheras. I moved to Boston, and I was fortunate to meet Kevin, who we heard speak earlier today. And it was then that I knew that Mr. and Dr. Kuchera, Mrs. and Dr. Kuchera were stand-up people because they'd raised two stand-up men. And it assured me further that Sarah was in unbelievable hands with them. I told myself I wouldn't cry. As Chris and Sarah's relationship flourished, so did their love and mutual respect for one another. They balanced holidays between families, they traveled the world together, they survived and still liked each other during COVID lockdown. It was amazing. They supported each other in their separate opposite coast endeavors twice. It was then when Chris was at UCLA that I knew they'd be together forever. As Sarah missed Chris a lot, the way you miss someone when they make you complete. Sarah is herself around Chris. She said it the other day when marrying Chris in the church, that it's always easy between them. This comfort with Chris makes us, I know I can speak for my entire family here, unbelievably happy for you, Sarah, and for you, Chris. Abuela would also be especially happy her gatica flaca is marrying a very, very handsome man, as she would say. Yes. Sarah and Chris, words can't explain how happy I am for you. The world is your oyster, or lobster. Chris loves lobster. And I can't wait to see where life takes you. I know it's down a road of laughter, ease, and more nephews and nieces for me. So thank you. I love you guys, and cheers to the happy couple. Love you, Chris.
Well, good evening and welcome. They say the happiest moment for parents is when a child is born. And the second happiest moment is when a child getting married and starting family. So my wife and I are very happy today for Sarah and Chris. What a great occasion. Okay. Sarah and Chris are loved so much that we have family and friends traveling from far away to get here. From Sweden, from Switzerland, from Belgium, from Dubai, from Canada, from California. What's a wonderful occasion, and thank you all for being here. Okay? Now, I wrote a lot of notes, but I found it's better to talk from my heart. It's much easier. Okay? My daughter Sarah is extremely smart, but extremely quiet and calm. She doesn't brag. She's just disciplined and do what she has to do without any bragging and talking. And she works very hard. And of course, she's overshadowed by her older sister and brother. And that's always the case. Anyhow, so when I heard about Chris, I was initially just trying to learn more about him. But I kept it quiet. But Chris has a lot of very, very good traits. And I'll explain why. It happened to me in the past, and I could see it in him. Chris is very motivated, and he knows what he wants to do. He knows the career he wants to get there. But as a white young boy in this country, he gets a lot of difficulties for no reason. He put the time, he is very smart, he studies, but they always push back. But what I like about that regardless of all these issues, he is a forward-looking guy. And he decided to leave his job because he saw some obstacles for his career path, and he decided to go and get an MBA and move forward. That's very, very good trait, and I liked about that. Now, I didn't mention it to him, but I watch and observe. And Chris, welcome to our family. The other thing I told my kids from the long time ago, and I repeat it all the time, when you marry the family, not only one person, okay? And I guess my daughter was happy with the Cosciera, and we also were happy with the Cosciera and Chris, and that's a great, great occasion. Now, I'm not going to have a long speech, and I want to just again repeat, Chris and Sarah have a very happy future, very successful future, and healthy future. But remember one thing, and I repeat it, in life, there will be always happy times, but unfortunately, there will be sometimes that will be difficult. One thing I'm going to mention to you from now, learn the art of compromise. Let me repeat, learn the art of compromise. There will be a time when you'll have some difficulties, and it's best that you compromise, okay? And you, like I said, the mother said that before, love conquers every difficulty. So compromise and love each other. And the last word, please have a lot of children. Congratulations, and please welcome. Thank you. That was really nice.